Cbre is the largest real estate company in the world. We manage probably multiple clients, but particularly in the oil and gas sector, we manage a huge amount of clients within the oil and gas sector. So our business is really end-to-end real estate management, from acquiring space to constructing of that space, to then leasing that space, and then actually developing that space and managing that space on our clients' behalf, and ultimately disposing that space. So within the oil and gas sector, we manage everything from corporate offices to refineries, chemical plants, midstream, upstream, and then also what we also do is we also manage all of the retail, so petrol stations. So we manage all of that for them as well. So that includes acquiring the space, constructing petrol stations, looking after them. So we do a lot of end-to-end solutions in terms of real estate in the oil and gas market, and for multinationals all over the world. I think our market share in terms of what we do, probably no one has the level of capability within the oil and gas network that we do. I think our strength is due to actually how good we are in managing that and working and providing the right solution for our clients. And we do that in a very strong way, which is particularly around safety and compliance and controls. So we have a fantastic safety record and very strong controls, which mean that actually we partner with a lot of oil and gas companies and their service providers as well to provide the right solution for them. So we work with them in partnership a lot to be able to deliver that for them. It's a really good mix for me at the moment. I think there's a couple of things which is really good. Number one is we're here. This is the first time we probably had this conference for such a long time, right? This is the first time we've presented at this conference to be able to really show and showcase what we do. Many people know us as Cbre, but probably don't know that we do this in the oil and gas network and the energy network. So what's really, really interesting for me, I think, is just having all of these people being able to have these conversations, and they're very different conversations. They're conversations from everything from engineering conversation we have to how we're going to do renewables, how we're going to look to climate change. So there's a huge different types of conversations. Really interesting conference for us, really interesting experience. It's what we're going to do in the sustainability side in particular is what we're going to do to help drive that forward and working with clients and it's really around us providing solutions for those clients of how to help them achieve, in particular, their net zero goals or whatever achievement they make. And if you look at the conversations that we have around that, it's how do we work with clients to be able to help them, whether that's changing a lot of the equipment they use into much more efficient, energy efficient equipment, thinking of different ways to actually utilize space so you're minimizing the actual energy consumption, for example. But also for our side, it's how do we bring in more renewables into that, whether that's how do we bring in solar panels onto petrol stations, how do we bring in more EVC charging into petrol stations, how do we maximize green energy and bring that in as well. So I think what's interesting is it's a twofold conversation around how do we work with strong hydrocarbon producers like the oil and gas networks, and a lot of people around here who support that network, but how do we help them work with them to keep that business going, but maybe mode that and change that business as we go through a little bit. I think it's very good. I mean, people are really interested. This is clearly a conversation people want to have and are having. And it depends on the maturity and where they're at in that, but there's not a single client that we talk to. I think out of the Fortune 500 companies, we probably deal with 90% of those companies. And at the board level, we're having that conversation all the time. And we're working with them to help on a corporate and real estate function, how we help them solution some of that as well. Number one is clearly everybody has to do it. We have to make that change, right? That's the first thing. The second piece is really actually how do we take them and work that journey, and how do we work with them? And that's really, as I said earlier, it's really about partnership and how we partner with them and how do we help look at solutioning things in a smarter, quicker way, a better way to actually end up in a more renewable product, if you like, for these guys, right? Well, like I said earlier, for me this is brilliant, right? This is the first time we're here, so we haven't, exhibited ever before. Just seeing the different kind of markets, who's here, what they're doing, it's just great. And it's great to see people, as I said earlier. I haven't seen people for 2-3 years, haven't had this ability to be able to see, and I haven't actually had the right levels of conversations with people. And to your point, whether that's about how do we help them today and how do we help them in the future with their. So for me, this is honestly, we've enjoyed it. You know, this is the second day. Yesterday was really buoyant. Today's a little bit quieter, but we're having very interesting conversations. I think whether that's with people who are exhibiting here and providing services, or people who are looking for our services, or even people just wanting to understand what we do and how we can help them in their, you know, with their corporate solutions for anything they want to do, right? I've got to be honest, I think this is our first time coming here, right? So I think next time when we come again, and I expect to be here next year, is maybe us being able to showcase more of our products, more of what we do, and maybe some more real-time solutions around actually, and to your point, whether that's sustainability or renewables, kind of what we're doing a little bit more in that field, to some of the technology we're bringing in to corporate real estate, into actually how to manage that much more efficiently, how to manage that better, how to maximize your savings and value driven, how do you really pull value out of your real estate as well.